Eurobox presents Illegitimately Blessed, written by Ricky Weir. Illegitimately Blessed is a powerful and deeply human memoir about identity, belonging, resilience, and the unexpected paths that shape a life. In this candid and emotionally rich narrative, Ricky traces his journey from growing up as a mixed-race adopted child in 1960s Glasgow to becoming a footballer, entrepreneur, leader, and global change maker. So let's welcome the author, who's right now connected with us as our special guest to give us an insight on his book. Hi, Ricky, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me and good afternoon.
So, the title, let's start from the beginning. Illegitimately Blessed is, I guess, both provocative and deeply personal. At what point did you realize that what once felt like a burden had actually shaped your greatest strengths?
I don't think there's any one point in life, Ginevra. I think it's been a series of realizations as my life has unfolded. At different points in my life, from growing up as a young black mixed race footballer in Glasgow, and football gave me a platform to get some realizations, and the discovery of my biological family when I was then in my 40s. So there's been realizations at points in time during my life, but there wasn't one moment. I would say, in terms of the culmination of stopping trying to prove myself as a black person in a white society, or even as a white person in a black society, the realization of just simply being me and recognizing me was quite recent, relatively speaking, probably in the last 5 or 6 years. That's how long it's taken.
Let's stay on this football subject, football sphere. Football runs through the entire book as more than just a sport. What did football give you emotionally that other areas of life could not at the time?
It absolutely gave me acceptance. That would be one emotion. I was very seldom turned away from asking to play in a game. Back in those days, there were always games going on around the streets and in the parks, less so now. So that would be acceptance, confidence, for sure. Definitely had a confidence when I stepped over that white line as I became better at the sport. So then people would want you to be on their team, and that definitely gave me confidence, because there was definitely other areas where I lacked confidence. I was more aware of my colour. I was made more aware that perhaps I wasn't accepted, or I wasn't wanted, or I wasn't welcomed in particular spheres or particular groups. But football was one place that I was generally, maybe not openly welcome, but certainly accepted, and that gave me my platform. It built confidence, and then through football, I learned many other skills, such as resilience, such as dealing with adversity. I talk in the book, which we may touch on, about the great words of wisdom from my adopted father when I was around 14, about dealing with adversity, and that was a lesson that stayed with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Sport is always a thing in anyone's life. It always changes you. Also, your book touches on race, on adoption, on identity, on success, purpose. If readers take away just one message from your story, what do you hope it is?
I'm quite strong in that. I think there's lots of messages, but if there's one message, it would be brave enough to be yourself, and don't wait perhaps until you're in your 50s it wasn't necessarily a wait, it was a process and a discovery. But I would say, if anyone can take inspiration to be themselves, to be brave enough to be themselves, then that would be the message I'd like people to take.
So the book has been out for a very short time, actually. How have the feedbacks been up to now?
Way beyond what I would ever have expected, really way beyond. I did feel there was the makings of a story. It's a unique story. But everybody has a unique story. I think what's blown me away has been the depth, the consistency of the comments, the people talking about how raw and authentic it is. I didn't have anything to compare it to. I just wrote the book, and I wrote it in the best way I can, with help for sure, in terms of like editing and crafting the story. But it's been overwhelming and humbling and flattering. And even people saying how well written it has been, because I don't see myself as a writer, even though I've written a book. Yes, an author perhaps, but not a writer. I feel you have to do a lot more to become known as a writer. I never expected to be called a footballer after playing just one game of football, so I don't expect to be deemed as a writer in an esteemed company of all these great writers that are out there after just writing one book. But the fact that people feel has been well written, it's authentic, that's been enormously gratifying.
That's wonderful. We want to wish you best luck too. And thank you again for your time today and for joining us.
You're absolutely welcome. Thank you for having me.
Written in a direct conversational style, Illegitimately Blessed balances vulnerability with insight, blending personal history, social reflection, and hard-won wisdom. Illegitimately Blessed, written by Weir, is now available in bookstores and digital platforms. It's a publication by Eurobox.